Hi all, good morning. I'm Anina Joy, your new IT teacher. I hope all of you are fine there. In the current situation, we'll be taking online classes for you. So let's start our first chapter. Let's write a letter. This is video 1 of chapter 1. In this chapter, we are going to study about the software LibreOffice Writer. You have already learned about this software in your previous classes. You have learned how to type, how to change the font, how to change the font size, font color, etc. in your previous classes. We are going to learn a little bit more about this software in this chapter. So let's start. So let's start our first chapter. The chapter name is Let's Write a Letter. So, what are the topics to be discussed in this chapter? There are 8 activities. Activity 1, word processor to prepare letters. Activity 2, letters that change their form. Activity 3, adjusting the borders. Activity 4, adjusting the space between the lines. Activity 5, preparing a greeting card. Activity 6, greeting cards in new form. Activity 7, making greeting cards more attractive. Activity 8, including a picture. So these are the activities that are to be discussed in this chapter, and in this video we will be discussing the first 2 activities, that is word processor to prepare letters and letters that change their form. So let's start with our first activity, that is word processor to prepare letters. Okay, we are already familiar with text typing and different ways of making the text more attractive. For that we are using word processing softwares. Here we are using the software called LibreOffice Writer. I think you are already familiar with this software, right? We have learned how to type the text, how to change the font of the text, how to change the font size, how to change the font color, etc. All such things we have learned in our previous classes. So in this chapter also we are going to learn about this software called LibreOffice Writer. So here I have already opened the software. You're already familiar with this, right? Here there is a white space. Here we can type the text. So how we can type text using this software? Here we can see a blinking line that is called cursor. We can type the text or type whatever we want using the keyboard. See, I'm typing hello world. See, in this manner we can type whatever we want using this software. And here at the top there are different tools which help us to change the font, font size, font color, alignment, line spacing, etc. By using these tools we can make the text more attractive. So what is our first activity? Preparing letters using this word processing software. Now open your textbook. You can see a letter in it. What is it? It's a letter written by the headmaster to the parents inviting them for Mother's Day celebration at their school. A similar letter I have typed using this software. So that was our first activity, that is preparing a letter using this software. See, is there any difference between this letter and the letter in your textbook? Definitely. The fonts may be different, the font size may be different, the alignment, line spacing, all these things may be different. So how we can do such changes in this text? That we are going to learn in our coming activities. So now let's check our second activity, that is letters that change their form. That means changing the font of the text. How we can change the font of the text? For that first we have to select the text. How we can select it? Bring the mouse to the starting of the line, click it and then drag the mouse to the end of that line. See, here I have selected the first line, the headmaster. Now I am going to change the font of this first line. How to change the font? Here at the top, see here liberation, that is the current font of the selected text. Now we can change it by clicking on this arrow mark. different fonts are available. We can select whichever font we want. Now we'll select this font. See, the font of that first line has changed. In this manner, we can change the font of the text. So how we can change the font of the text? First step is to select the text. Then we can select the required font from here. Now we will check another font. See, the font of this first line has changed. This is your second activity, that is changing the fonts of the letters. So let's summarize what we have learned today. Our first activity was word processor to prepare letters. We are already familiar with text typing and the different ways of making text more attractive using word processing software. And here we are using LibreOffice Writer software. Just open the software and type the text. Now, what should you consider while preparing a letter? Use capital letters wherever required. Then words must have certain space between them. The paragraph should be equally aligned. Then lines must have proper spacing between them. So these are the things that we have to consider while we prepare a letter. Now, what was our second activity? Letters that change their form. That means changing the font of the text. How we can change the font of the text? There are two steps. First step is select the text. Then second step is select the required font. So this is how we can change the font of the text. So we have learned how to type text in LibreOffice Writer and how to change the font of the text that we have typed. I hope all of you have understood. The remaining activities will be taken in the coming videos. Thank you.